Good afternoon and welcome to the daily wrap-up here with ForexAnalytix. And we're seeing another quiet session ahead of the Jackson Hole Summit. You can see here, look at the euro. We're higher or maintaining just above 111 or right at 111. But we're not making any movements. Today we do have the FOMC. We have minutes at 2 p.m. Eastern time. That'll probably allow the market to generate some movement. I think if it's not as dovish, you'll see a dip, but I think you'll see in the euro, but I think you'll see that dip bought because I think the market has to price in that risk that Powell will be viewed as accommodative. We've also seen some information out of labor statistics where employment has been written down 500, a little over 500,000 in revision. So certainly that'll make it somewhat easier to be accommodative. And once again, this is really all about the row with China and how it's not going to, reasonably end anytime soon. I think Trump said he thinks a deal can come, but he's been saying that. I sound like a broken record, but he's been saying that since Moses crossed the desert. That ain't going to happen. I'm saying is unless he just completely gives in, because there's no impetus for China to negotiate with him. None whatsoever, despite what he says. We're no closer. If anything, we're much further away than we were months ago as he's tried to impose additional tariffs. And there's just not an impetus for the China to go in and step in at this point. But as I mentioned, I think that opens the door for Powell to be more accommodative, especially on the release of this information about employment being pared down quite a bit in past revisions. But as I mentioned, it's very, very quiet. We did get some Canadian data. We saw that come down into our bias chart support of 32.56 and bounce up a little bit on some short covering. But other than that, we're very, very quiet. Look at the cable, just quiet, dead as a doornail. Same thing here with yen. We're trading, for the most part, we've been trading in about a 15 pip range. We kind of busted out a little bit, kind of dipped, took out some lows and kind of popped right back up. And so what is that, the total of maybe 22 pips or something like that? But for the most part, it's been trading very, very quiet, very dead. Here's the Kiwi just hanging on above that buy chart support, which is a major level at 63.89. We can take a look with the Aussie. And as I said, we'll probably see some movement come out of the FOMC minutes, but it's quiet August trading. As I said before, Europeans generally take the last 3 weeks off. And we're just simply waiting for Jackson Hole and for Powell to speak. We do have minutes today, but honestly, there's just not a whole lot. I mean, you can't try and manufacture something that simply isn't there. We have seen the peso pair back, come into bias chart support that we had here. I think it is at 64.8, I believe is where we had it. So we've seen that pair back. We can take a look specifically. Peso 64.5, and it looks like we've gone and tagged that and taken that just by a hair, and we're just a bit above it. Same thing in cross rates. They're relatively quiet themselves. We can take a quick look there. You can see nothing really happening. Aussie yen's pushing up just a bit higher, but I mean, a bit higher what? These are actually 2-hour bars, so we're on the upper end of what, a 15 pip trading range over the last 6 hours. I mean, there's simply no movement, coming across. Guppy just pushing just a bit hard, but trapped within the confines of this bracket here. And just as I mentioned, not really a whole lot of movement whatsoever. We can go in and take a look at Bunds and 10-year. Bunds, same thing. We do have the German auction today. I don't even know if we even had the results here. Cable just moved up just a hair bit higher. I see 10-year yields barely hanging on. Once again, I think Powell will be accommodative. Gold is just hanging here, but as I mentioned, one of the guys in the room, if Powell does come out being rather accommodative, I think we'll make one big burst up here. Now, after that, we may see the market need a rest after a couple of days moves or 2.5-day moves if we get Powell to be very accommodative. We'll move back into the main screen. And like I said, there's really nothing going on here. Very, very quiet trading. You can see here that cable just momentarily just popped up real quick. But when you look at it in the scope of this 2080, 2165. We're just not seeing that much movement. We kind of took a quick blip here, but there's nothing of any real substance. You're trading basically right around the 111, back and forth within basically probably an 8 to 10 pip range for about the last couple of hours, or not a couple of hours, but more like about the last 6 hours, to be quite honest with you. If you look at the last 6 hours, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, actually the last 8 hours, a low of 88 and a high of 1106, not even a 20 pip range in 8 hours. So not really anything here, seen here. Just very, very quiet trading. And we do have the minutes later on today. I think they could be a little bit dollar positive, but that dollar positive, I think, will be pared back. So if that does come up, I think we could see the euro dip down, probably maybe as low as 70s. And then I could see that quickly pop right back up again as we get into or get ahead, prepare ourselves to go into Jackson Hole. But like I said, there's nothing else happening here. As you can see, it's very quiet, quiet session. Looking ahead, not that I expect necessarily that much bigger movement, but you can see here that we do have Aussie manufacturing PMI and services PMI, composite PMI. Now, those are going to be for me, it's 6 p.m., which is going to be 7 p.m. Eastern time. Bear with me. That's all that I see here until we roll into tomorrow when we get European PMIs. And we've got French, Germany, and Eurozone. Of course, it's normal jobless claims. And we do have some Mexican trade data tomorrow and flash PMI here in the States. And that's going to be it. Now, the following day, we'll have retail sales out of right here. You can see here, right of New Zealand. See, right there. But other than that, just very, very quiet trading coming in. Don't have a whole lot. Like I said, it's just August trading is. We're just going to be marking time until we come into the minutes, which is probably going to be about a little bit less than 90 minutes. So thanks for joining here on a very, very quiet August trading day. Ahead of a little bit of movement, we should get in that minutes. And then, of course, Jackson Hole, which is where all the fireworks are going to take place. Thanks for joining join us here on a very quiet session. And we will catch you tomorrow. Or if you want to go in and consider a trial, a 10-day trial with ForexAnalytix. Like I said, you can certainly watch the European crossover live as we get ready for the day with the day scalp levels. Obviously, as we move into Jackson Hole in the following week, we should start to see markets really move along. And certainly that would be worth going and taking that 10-day trial. Look under the hood, kick the tires. And thanks once again for joining us, and good luck trading on a very, very quiet day.